Okay, historically, let's correct it. Revival of Hebrew is more to do with the late 19th century. There was already a movement of writing in Hebrew, establishing literature in Hebrew, and beyond the liturgical sort of use. But you can say that it established itself as a language among languages when it became the language of a country, a language of people on a specific space and place. So then when it became the official language of Israel. Then now we have to go back to Hebrew. Hebrew in itself starts very early in the Bible, in Bereshit. It suggests that part of the spirit that is able to see beyond corporeal perception. It has to do closer to the beginning of a sense of the sublime, losing it and then having. So it has to do looking over something, beyond something, being able to cross the river of forgetfulness, you can say. Because every spirit forgot in its corporeal state its spirit origin. So when you cross and you're able to see beyond that, something is being able to awaken in you, so you're able to have prophecy. Now, prophecy in Hebrew is a language. The word prophecy, nevuah, has to do with niv, dialect. If I'll translate it actually, a dialect of a language. Now, Hebrew in itself is a root language, but Arabic is as well a root, not as much as, but Semitic languages are root, that they tend to be root languages, but Hebrew is a very root of the roots, okay? Then there is something more that within the sort of the way it moved into, let's say, Avraham, so he's called the Hebrew. Now, if you go to Greece, they don't call us Jews or Israelis, they call us the Hebrews. So the ancient perception is still to do with that language. Now, within Hebrew, there is a distinction between the use. So I can use the Hebrew as with its tendency to be able to look at the root, meaning to look beyond the branch or beyond corporality. But then there is, you can say, a holy tongue, sacred tongue within it, which means that it's being used in terms of actually building a place in which the process of the presence of God could be a reality. So you can say that the tabernacle is creating some sort of it's like putting on a virtual reality glasses. You're able to see beyond what is outside of the tabernacle. Beyond corporality, there is some sort of a structure, a construct, which allow you to perceive beyond. Okay, so it's as well the language that will allow us to study and to penetrate to the root in order to use it as actually a sacred tongue. Now, within what Torah was given, for us to be able to move through this process from the Hebrew, from the spoken Hebrew, to the root Hebrew, to the sacred tongue. Okay, this is what. So it was given to all the wills of the world. It doesn't matter from which nation you've been. And all the will to receive to oneself that did not have this sensitivity, okay, in themselves, or reshimu, memory of belonging to something, were not able to receive Torah, because the aim of Torah is a very specific illumination through language, that its aim is to retrieve the spirit and to bring it back to its roots. So there's no bottom line answer, but it suggests that those people who related to Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, that has this memory in themselves, and those people who actually felt that something significant in the sublime is happening and joined this journey and human experiment, actually are able to say yes to this illumination of Torah. The other parts of ourselves need to be recruited, and they will be recruited in time. So what confuses us is that these wills are represented by different people. People which are outside of ourselves. But people who are outside of ourselves is the lack of our formation. It means that our work was not committed enough to recruit them in, to allow reality of the presence of the higher that will recruit them in. So you're responsible.
And while the Rabbah was explaining this, I was once again reminded that the nations of the world are just different states within oneself. And the second thing was that I almost thought that, since speaking about the Rashimo and recalling of this spiritual connection in the past, that maybe, just maybe, it was an inevitability that the Hebrew language historically, corporeally, ended up dormant for centuries until a point where, and that perhaps was the connection with the work of,
well,
there is a new reception, we're ready again.
I will quote, I think, a perception of Gershon Scholem, which was one of the most important, let's say, people who dealt with the revival of the study of Kabbalah in the world, okay, in the Hebrew University. When there was still a debate of, actually, would it be good that Israel will speak Hebrew? He said, and I think now we see how true it was, that actually speaking Hebrew will be a messianic ticking bomb within Israel. If we speak Hebrew, the Hebrew will explode in messianic terms and reality within the story and history of Israel, and it's happening now. Because he dealt with Kabbalah, his sensitivity to the Hebrew was really high academically, but I know that he was not only an academic Kabbalist, but someone who tried to actually be committed to the text, which is different than an academic approach to the text. So I think this is the power of the Hebrew. If you speak English, it will not happen. You speak French, it will not happen. but you speak Hebrew, it will happen in the place of Israel.
Mm.
So it's another angle of to actually look at your question.
Yeah, intersection between corporality and spirituality, and it all
Yeah.
comes together. And
Mm.
it
There is a
it's
meeting point in which it explodes. A meeting point in which um, there's no question anymore that spirituality is the purpose. Okay,
mm,
so because it almost um, coerced us into asking ourselves spiritual questions.
mm.
Okay, yes.
But also when the Rabbah has said often, and also we have said often, that it's not like all Israelis are Israel. Israel is
Mm,
scattered around the world. But of course, and another word that the Rabbah uses often is ecology. Of course, the ecology and the right place, if you utilize that language, will be the physical land of Israel, because the possibility there is
mm,
greater regardless how you utilize Hebrew.
mm.
So that's very
So how
eye-opening,
you
I think.
utilize, and then how it's not only how you utilize, how the language will use you.
Mm,
It will have its way in you.
mm,
Okay, and you can see there's a very discernible trend of what is happening within the Hebrew.
mm,
It sort of it relates to if we clean it from political sort of happening, it is so clear that the Hebrew is carving us
mm,
into a very specific purpose.
mm.
Okay. Yes.